All right, what's going on, everybody? All right, so here we are, another one. So the last game jam that I did was like 2 weeks ago, was only a week ago, I don't even know, and it went not fantastic. I spent the whole week doing a bunch of stuff. I overscoped, and so I decided I should do that again, and I've once again overscoped. No, not entirely. This is a game I've thought about making for a while. We've got the Score Space Jam with the theme Evolution, and mine's like kind of evolution. I mean, there's evolution in it. It's just not centered around evolution. And the idea is it's like a Pokemon roguelike where, and it's also, the battle mechanics are like Paper Mario. And that's, that's essentially it. So right now I'm working on the battle scene. You can see we've got a simple 2D scene here. And I've got some very basics set up where I can use my keys to kind of shuffle through these players. And it doesn't do anything visually, but down here you can see that it's spitting out which player we're focused on. And then, yeah, like if you haven't seen Paper Mario battles, that's exactly how it's going to be. And yeah, so right now I'm going to start putting some things in here. Also, if you put your thing into chat, you'll get some experience, and then eventually I'll be making rewards and stuff for that, so you can like spend those experience points from participating in chat on cool stuff. Any Hoosier. Okay, so what do we want to do? So far I have the very basic battle system. I would like to obviously complete making a turn, right? So I think I've got the basic layout for a turn, where we have to go to each monster and select like turn and choose what they want to do. The enemy monsters will do so automatically. Yeah, and then we'll figure out damaging next. So I guess what I specifically need to do is actually make a way for me to see what my monster's moves are, choose one, and attack. That's about it. And then we're also going to have some things that aren't moves that you can do. So like you can defend, like just like in Paper Mario. So you can just put your guy in defense. He won't do a move, but his defense is boosted that turn. And then they'll probably be like, I don't know. We'll get into that, but let's go ahead and do that. So let's do implement attack system, and that will be the first thing we do, and we'll start that right now. Okay, there's that. So if we hop into here, I think what we'll have to do is, because what I essentially want is that when you hover over one of your own characters, it should show up just like in Paper Mario. I'm gonna reference that a lot, so let's Mario TTYD. Obviously not any of the ones after that because they were all trash. TTYD battle. That is very small, but that's exactly what I need. There we go, that'll do. Zoom in there. Okay, so see, it's like a pretty simple, it's actually a 3D game with 2D assets, but I would obviously make my game entirely 2D because it just makes things a lot easier, for me at least. And yeah, so whenever you hover over the character, you get this little thing that pops up above you that shows you the things that you can choose to do. And that's what I want to do. Oh yes, items. So we'll have items. Oh yeah, you can go like tactics and then click defend and stuff like that, and then attacks. So items, attack, and then maybe just defend. Maybe I'll make like a tactics tab, but for right now, we're just gonna do those things. Is this gonna be a commercial project? If it does well, for sure. It's also something I think will do well. I think it's a really cool idea. I just have to make sure it actually implements correctly, and that probably won't happen in 2.5 days. But I'm gonna do my best. So the goal for today is to get the entire battle system fleshed out and working in a prototype phase. And then basically besides that, it's going to be a lot like the dungeons in what was that game called? Northern Lion was playing it a bunch. It was like a really creepy, really cool roguelike game. It was like a card type game. But anyway, so like there's like several levels. You could beat that game. In this game, there's going to be, it goes on forever and you get a high score. But, oh yeah, the other thing is catch. That's the other thing, because you're going to be able to catch Pokemon. But it's going to be yeah. 3D games is just a little more complex. I want to dive into it and learn, but there's just so many things I have to do. And so for me, I'm not going to try touching 3D until after Godot 4.0 comes out. Because it's, I feel like everything's going to be a lot better at that point. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, anywhooser. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is make a little scene here, and then node, and then I'll make it its own scene, and this will just kind of be like the interaction menu, and then it can grab focus if you're on this. So right now you see this control here, and so this is sized at runtime to be bigger than him. So like if I go like this, if I hover my mouse over, wait, what the hell? Hold on. That should be working. I put this on ignore. That shouldn't be doing it. And then this shouldn't do it either. So it's weird to me that is there. I mean, I guess I'm fine with not using the mouse, but it should definitely be working. Let's see. If I go like here and I hit. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Oh, or maybe. All right, so here are those functions. Here's what's happening. So if we do print event here, oh, well, probably not put that in quotes. So that's picking that up. Interesting, and it picks that up as an event too. So that's weird. Because I have, no, yeah. So on mouse enter to have grab focus. Let's here print mouse. Let's see. Okay, so it is working. Cool. Maybe just because I couldn't grab the same one? Oh yeah, oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, so I want you to be able to use the mouse or arrow keys or a controller. So I'm working it out from the start, from the get-go, to make it so that you can, the whole GUI is interactable through like focus, is what it's called in Godot. So I can hop from one node to the other, and then potentially down to end turn. Oh, that's actually something I'll have to do there. So the way I'm doing the focus, I have to set it manually because I'm adding them. So I loop through all the monsters. So what I do here is say if index is not 0, so if it's not the first monster in the list, like all the way to the left there, then we add focus to, we get the monster to the left of that person using the index, and then we add the like if you go to any of these things and go over to focus, you can add neighbor left, neighbor right, and then if you hit the left or right arrow keys, it jumps to that person. So I'm doing that manually here. But what I'd like to do is, if it is the first person, I want to make the end turn button, I want to make that the focus. So we'll go mon.add focus, which is just a little function I made to simply add the thing to the correct place. What did I call this? End turn button. End turn button. And then 0. And 0 is just the internal constant that it has set. And I don't know why. Oop, yep, because I said mod. It's a mon. So mon to add focus dot get path. Okay, Yeah, so in order to add focus, you have to give the path to the node and then which thing. So 0 just corresponds to left, and then 2 corresponds to right. Do I want it left? I guess I do want it left, but I would also like want it to be down. Let's see if I can make the same node 2 focuses. So it would be bottom. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. What I should also do really quickly in this add focus thing, where is it? There we go, add focus, add focus. What I should be doing here is clearing our focus, because if like I'm gonna have the player be able to change the positions of your like Pokemon or whatever. See how they're gonna be linear like this. And so, like, there are going to be some moves that can't go and shoot people in the back, or, you know, some moves that, like AoE damage, all this stuff. So position is going to be somewhat important. And, so yeah, you're going to be able to switch places with somebody in game. Although maybe that should be an afterthought, but it would just be nice to do this. So anyway, so if you switch places, I'm going to recall this function, which sets everyone's, like, you know, where the correct focuses are. So when I call this add focus function, what I would like to do is clear focus, and I don't know if that is a function. Focus. Focus. Okay. You can just click one of these and then go to set focus neighbor, get focus neighbor, focus next. Which node if you're given keyword focus to if the user presses tab? Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't want the user to put tab. So, I think so. I've never played Darkest Dungeon. But I'm getting most of my inspiration. Yeah, I think this game. Yeah, so I don't know if this... I'm pretty sure this game came out after Paper Mario. But I've kind of thought about this game since I played this game as a little kid. Based on Paper Mario. And I think Darkest Dungeon is a lot like it. But in Paper Mario, you could only have at max 2 people on your team. And so I think it's going to be a lot more like Paper Mario than Darkest Dungeon, although I've never played Darkest Dungeon. But I do know that, like, yeah, the linearity is important. You got these people like this. There's, like, different classes. And, of course, mine is just going to be Pokemon with types. Same deal. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to look up Darkest Dungeon, see what they did. And so, like, if things start to mirror them... what is that? Is that the original Paper Mario? Yeah, that would have been cool if they didn't, for some reason, ruin Paper Mario. I remember I was a kid, I was so young when the next Paper Mario after Thousand Year Door came out. And it, like, got rid of the battle system. And I, like, literally cried because I was so sad, and I literally didn't play more than, like, 10 minutes of that game. Yeah. Set focus, neighbor, margin, blah, blah, blah. I wonder, can I just set it to none? What is this? Is this a clear? I'll just do this. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3. So say 4 underscore I in range 4. We'll say, I think this will work. And then if we say null here, this should be underscore I. Let's see if that yells at us. Yeah, okay. Cannot convert argument 2 from nil to node path. So yeah, that just sucks. I don't know how to. I guess I'll do it here. I was gonna search it on my side screen. Godot. Reset. Control. Focus. Neighbors. It's weird, like. Oh, that's cool. It is, for some reason, your chats are coming in really small. I'm like having to strain a little bit to read them. I love Sony games. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. This is my favorite game of all time, I think. But besides this game was Sly Cooper in the Sly Cooper series, and that's all Sony. And then I also got, oh god, there's like one game. There's like a racing game. I don't know, Connectica or something. I think it was on PS2. Yes. Yep. This game was the freaking tots, man. Yeah, I don't know. This was just such a fun game. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. So, that was we can see exactly how far I tangented. Only 18 minutes. Great. Very good. Getting nothing done. So this doesn't work, and I don't think anyone else has ever had this issue. What if we just say node or get path and we give it our own path? Is that gonna work? Or is that gonna get mad at us as well? When I actually try and use that, then it gets mad at me. Neighbor node is not a control. Control dot get path. Okay, now let's give that a shot. So I should be all the way to the left. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm gonna make a function. Reset focus. So what was just happening is that because I'm sequentially calling the add focus here, when I called it to set the left, it's at the left and cleared it. And then when I called it to set the right, it cleared the left and then ruined it. So now what I'll have to do is just call reset focus. Right here, Ryan range mon size mon, and then we'll just call mon dot reset focus. Why is that not working? Okay. All right, that looks like it worked. So sweet. I know this is very titillating, but here we go. All right, so now we're gonna actually make our little menu selector screen. So I guess I'll just start it as a new scene and then just add it. So let's see. I kind of want to explore the user interface nodes here because I have a lot of experience with designing UI because I've made some non-game apps, but I just want to see what else we've got because they add new stuff all the time and I just updated to the newest pre 4.0 build. So yeah. Time to see what they got. So again, it's going to be like this, and I want them to kind of go eventually in that arc. And so I think each one should probably be a drop-down button. Or I think it's called an option button. Yeah, I might just, because if they have something that makes me not have to code it, that would be fantastic, obviously. What's a range? Scroll bar, slider, progress by, spin box, texture progress. It's a lot like a spin box, I guess. Oh, but it's only numerical. Okay. Slider, nope. Scroll bar, texture progress, nope. Okay. Separator, graph edit, base buttons. Yeah, so it's probably gonna be mostly of option buttons, I think. Unless they have some interesting container here. A box container, grid, flow container. These are the ones like if you smash them, it reorganizes things. Not what we want. Split, margin. What's a margin container? Oh good, it's a simple margin container. Thanks for that. Okay. Scroll container, panel container, tab container. No, I'm not gonna use a tab container. I'm just gonna do my own thing. Okay, so all that for nothing. Not nothing, I learned. Okay, so. All right. What do we need here? I'll make this a little bit bigger. I don't know how big I'll want it, but I do like round numbers. Let's do 500 by 500, which is probably too big. Go to scenes, monster, create folder. This will be selection UI. I always say it's like, I think it's one of the hardest points of coding in general is naming your variables and files and stuff. There we go. Okay, cool. I'll add a script here, although I don't know what I'll need it for quite yet. So I think I'll either just make a code thing that draws an ellipses, and then we grab like several points along that, and then I'll rotate them through. But that's very aesthetic stuff that does not need to get done right now. For right now, I think I'm just going to make it a simple circle. All we're doing is implementing an attack system, and then we'll get to the other stuff. So let's just add an option button here. And then the only pain with option buttons is you have to do a lot of weird stuff to actually customize them. It's like we can, oh yeah, and you have to add the options via code, which is just so dumb. But they're like a necessary evil. But yeah, you can't edit them like this. So I just code everything from scratch. Yeah, I actually think that's the easier way to go. So we're just going to use button, and in fact, I'll make this a texture button, which we might need to change in the future. Okay. Cool. Okay, so yeah, obviously gonna suck for right now, but we'll see what happens. So the idea is, so I'll call this our attacks button, and then so we'll have these guys floating around. And then when you click them, we'll have like something right here that shows the options within that container. So for that, we're going to use a VBox container. I might actually add a line2D node. Yeah, let's do that. It's actually, I want to see. Godot draw lips. Interesting. But I don't think that's not what we need, because we don't need a draw. I just want to see if we could like get an ellipse shaped points. So let's see. Python draw ellipse. Actually, let's just do equation for ellipse. Well, let's actually look at that. That's a lot. It's also a lot. I just wanted the freaking formula, dude. Would you mind just highlighting them? Interesting. Let's go back here and just search. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I always forget that there's no point in using Google anymore. Okay, let's see. How would I code a function in Python that would output a series of points describing an ellipse? Let's see if this does it. 'Cause sometimes it do. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I made it poop bad. Oh. Let's see what's open on my computer. Don't need this. Everything else I need. Look at that, dude. I don't even have to waste time learning. Why would you do that, huh? Yeah. Okay. So then I can just go here. And this is easily converted to Godot. So we'll say var points, or G script I should say. For I in range, num points. So this will be an integer AB. Let's see what it says here. A and B are the semi-major and semi-minor axes of the ellipse. I guess for visual representations. Okay, so that is the minor ellipses. Okay. Actually, I can just do this. A and B. Okay, and then hopefully I don't forget what that means. Okay, points here, angle, so obviously we don't need that. How do you get pi? Is it constant? Yeah, okay, very cool. Pi, a 10 append, and this is going to be a vector 2 because we don't have tuples. Times 2 times I divided by num points. Angle, but we have to define this as var angle var x and var y, and then we've got this. These will also, these can be floats. Okay, and then I think we just have those functions built in. Beautiful. Okay, very nice. And then to test this, we can just say func ready, and then we can say line2d dot points equals generate ellipse, and then we'll say a is 100, and then this will a is major, so we'll do 300 by 100, and then num points will be 20, we'll say in this case, but that's not what we will use. Well, maybe we will. I was thinking we only need as many points as there are, but we're gonna want more, and then we'll have like resting points that we'll choose within the list. So that makes sense. But this is also, you know, more than I should probably be doing with this. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Son of a bitch, it worked. Okay, and then I just want to do line2d dot position equals vector 2, I don't know, 500, just so we can make sure that it, I ran the whole game. It's not going to connect because and then I think you can do plus this. I always forget which is something you can do in Python and which is something you can do here. So if we append the last point to the front again. Okay, you cannot do that. Yeah. Points dot append points 0. Okay, yeah, so now it's completed the ellipse because we put the point twice. But I actually don't think we need that in reality because we can just assume that that is true. So yeah, gonna get rid of that. But anyway, yeah, we've got a function that creates an ellipse, and then they will orbit around that ellipse, and then I will just make it dynamically so that their distance from this point, whatever it is, on the y-axis decreases their size, their scale value, and then it looks like they're getting farther and closer to you. Okay, cool. Okay, so we no longer need the line2d. I'll probably use the ready function. And we can just do this. So we say on ready var ellipse points equals generate ellipse, and then well, you know what I'll do is I'll just say rect size dot x for the major, yep, and then for the minor we'll say, I know we don't want, I guess we do want the width, and then I'll say rect size dot x times 0. Maybe half, so 0.5, so we'll cut it in half, and then the number of points, I think 20 is probably good. We might not even need that much, but we'll see. That'll be something to tackle down the road. Of course, now I actually want to see what that looks. Function. I'm going to add the line2d back. Function ready. line2d dot points. Shift by, and this will be a vector, vector2, vector2 equals ellipse points. So what this is shift by, what I'm making, is so that we can shift the whole ellipse by some amount. And then, oh yeah, I have to supply this. So by default, I'll set this to vector2 dot 0. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna do this plus shift by. And then when we don't put anything there, so I don't have to do this. If we don't put anything there, it just stays right at the origin. And then if we add a shift by, then we can shift it over to the center. So here I'll put vector2, 500, 500. God damn it, I hit command B again. Cool, okay, so that's going right there. That obviously looks quite massive. So let's do this time 0.2 maybe. I did it again. That looks pretty good. Let's do that times 0.9. I did. Can I just not do that once? Okay, cool. That actually looks pretty good. That looks very three-dimensional. So if we like move along it, it's gonna look like they're going like that. Okay. Okay. All right. That was a little cringy. A little, just a little. Okay. We don't want. Well, actually, I guess we do want expand on, huh? Stretch mode, keep aspect centered. And then I'll probably make this its own scene and then have it like kind of dynamically do that stuff if it is there. Okay, so I've got the VBox container here. Yeah, okay, good. Just making sure I'm actually on that. I just realized is that, did it again, the whole size of us is 500. Oh, this is much too big. Like much too big. Even with the shift, or without the, let's make sure if I did that right, actually. Let's make sure that just pops up. Yeah, it's the same size. I don't think you can draw the control lines, but here, let me add a color rect. And I'll make that full rect, and then we'll just take the opacity down. Or opacity. We'll run line here. You guys know what I did wrong. Okay, yeah, so it's centered perfectly on there, but it's clearly, oh, because it's radius. Over 2.0. Or, I mean, that's just kind of unnecessary. I'll just do times 0.5. And we'll add another times 0.5 there. Okay. Hey, I did it right. Okay, cool. So that is a much more reasonably sized ellipse, obviously. And then, of course, and then now we need to get the location. So here, I'm going to say rect underscore size. And and we want this to be not right in the center. So I'll just do times vector 2, and then we'll do 0.5, so that way horizontally is right in the center, and then we'll multiply the y by like 0. No, you know what? I'm just gonna stop trying to make this into a single liner. There's literally no point for that. So we'll say var ellipse points equals pool. We'll just make it an array because there's so many functions that arrays have that like pool arrays don't. Okay, and then we'll say equals that, and then we'll say var x equals that, and then we'll say var y equals, so x rad, y rad, and then we'll fix these. Rad. And there should be a 20. Put a 1 there. Okay. Cool. And then so the amount that we want this shifted by should be the first part is right, but the y I'm trying to think about. We want the center, we want it to be, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's above the like actual control. It doesn't in this case. So I am just gonna center it. 0.0. Okay, cool. And now if we generate the ellipse, perfect. It's right in the center, and then it goes over the top, but that's okay. Actually, for at least for testing purposes, it would be really helpful to actually see it. 0.2. All right, there we go. Anyway, so the point is not to draw an ellipse with a line. The point is so that we can actually just visualize that that is like actually happening. And what I'm gonna do, I guess I don't need to do that dynamically, but I'm gonna do print ellipse points. Actually, let's just do, this is gonna make things easier. If I just do tool and then hit save, it should just do it for me. But it is not, oh, because we're gonna have to, I guess exit. There we go, okay. And then now I can just get rid of that tool keyword. So I only need that to happen once. Just so that I can kind of like get an idea of where that's gonna be. And then we'll get our VBox container here. What's up, unknown unknown? Let's see, did you pop up over here or is that not working? I didn't see it. I just updated the Python script that scrapes the chat too, so. So we'll do this, and I'll do, yeah, we'll do center bottom. Okay. And then I think I'm going to... I just realized like that whole thing is gonna fall apart very quickly if I start messing with this, which I'm about to, because there's no reason it should be that big, right? I don't think so. Actually, we don't want it from the center bottom, because if the list gets bigger, yeah, it's just better to have it actually be center top. So we'll keep it like that, and then all this, and we'll go center top. And then, shit, son of a bitch. Oh, shit, son of a bitch. Okay, whatever, I'll just use the arrows. We want this to roll just below that. That's probably about as big as we want. It is getting fucking toasty in here. Oh, I appreciate it. Okay. Cuckoo. Alright, so, I guess I should at least get that like that. Grow direction, horizontal end. Let's do horizontal both. Vertical end, margin, anchor, grow direction. You know what? This should be in a scroll container. Yeah. So let's actually add a... Let's actually just change this to a scroll container. Change type. Scroll container. And then, why are you mad? Intended to work with a single child control. Oh yeah, okay. And we'll add a VBox container. And then we will, oh, I guess it's automatically gonna make it full rect. So that's cool. Now, the point of that is that when we cycle through this, whatever this option is, we'll then have that appear down here. So that's how we're just going to select these. So I guess there's really no need to press the button. We'll make it so that once it gets here, this loads, which is, I think, just better. Like I think that's how Paper Mario did it. No, they made it so you had to actually press it, but I'm just going to make those options automatically pop up when it comes to the front. Yeah, some of my music is good. Some of it, not so much. It was my birthday yesterday. Had a grand old time. Went bowling. Partied, hearty. Ate some great dinner on some great drogs. Why am I like, my brain is just shit in the bed. You know, I think I'm going to, I need to make something so I can postpone these, because I would like to like actually refactor this to say, here, I'll do this, and then I'll just know that I'm saying like, make selection, what do we call this? Battle selection UI system. And then we'll start that right now. Yeah, okay. Why do I do this? My brain is just shitting the bed. So what do I actually need to do? What I actually need to do is, this for instance is a baton, And what I want this to do is to start in the front, because this is going to be attack, and that's going to be that. So I guess what I'll actually do here, yeah, I'm going to make another control, and I'll call this buttons. Yeah, I'll just use a dictionary instead of doing that. So what I'll have here, also have an onReady var buttons, and then this is going to be a dictionary, and then so we'll say attack, all the options that you can choose, and then here we'll have access to that button. Now the question is, do I want this to just be access to that button, or do we also want this? The other problem with making this a dictionary is, of course, that it will not be ordered. I don't think there's an ordered. No, there's no ordered dict in Godot. So we will be doing. Here, I'll put that here. So say var buttons equals. We can actually make this a constant. So const buttons equals this. So the reason it was important for it to be an array is because I want the order that they're in to be the same. And so if you use a dictionary, you run the risk of them not being ordered. I mean, it technically should never be ordered, but sometimes it is. I don't really know why. Yeah, and then technically onReady vars should go there. So onReady var button, we'll call this button nodes. Yeah, I'm gonna make this another dictionary, and then we'll say so attack, and then we can say button. So I'll actually rename this again to button info, buttons info, and we'll say attack, and then we can get button, and then button will be, well, another rename here. I'll call this node, and then here it'll be attacks button, so this should be attacks. Okay, and then what we'd also eventually want is the things that we're going to display in the VBox container right there. Okay. So now the ellipse points are all the points in the ellipse. I don't think the path fall through. I'm trying to think about how I'm going to make these things actually move through the path. During time interpolate callback. Deploy the first method, interpolate method, interpolate properly. I think I'm going to use a new function I learned about in the other game jam, which is ease, to do it. But so essentially, well, let's just add another button for right now, and then so I'll call. What are some of the other things we want? I'll just make defend. Paper Mario TTYD. What's it called? Tactics. Paper Mario. Appeal, defend, or run away. The problem is, you know what, for right now, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to make it tactics. We'll call it tactics button. And then, yeah, here, just do this, do that, then we'll call this tactics node tactics button. Oh yes, and this should be attacks, and then tactics. So, now what we want to do is essentially get, so I'll say var node points, and I might rename that, but essentially these are going to be, and this will be a pool. We'll just again make it an array. Yeah, definitely need these to be arrays because we're going to use some crazy functions here. So this again is just for funsies. Let's do this and make sure that we know where the ellipse is, because what this will be helpful for debugging for sure. Yeah, and then we can just turn it off. Okay, so now what we need to do is get the node points. So the node points are going to be where the buttons can stop. And so what we want to do is we'll make it relatively dynamic. So we'll say num var num nodes equals buttons dot size. All right, so we want at least one node for at least every point on here. And then what we need to do is get the ellipse points and then choose 2 equal points. So the first point should always be the point closest to like the front and center. Let's see. It starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, but this depends. But if we have, okay, so we always need to have an even number of points, because if we do an odd, then you're gonna have one here, and that's what we want. So we always need an even number of points. And then I think 20 is really gonna be fine. So we'll just say points.5. Or what is points.5? That is the number of points divided by 4. Yeah. So we'll say num points must be even to have center point. So otherwise, I will definitely forget that. And what we will need to do now is to then say center point. So var center, and I might get rid of these variables, but when I'm roughing it, it's nice to just have a bunch of variables. So center point is going to be ellipse points, and then say dot size divided by 4, which makes sense. Yeah, so 4, well, should be able to just say 4. And then here we'll say ellipse points, that, and then that. So we get the size divided by 4. So if it's 20, 20 divided by 4 is 5. Then we get the 5th point. This needs to be -1. And then this should give us that center point there. Yeah, okay. So that should give us the center point, and then now, but that's not all we need. That might not even be necessary. Is it? So yeah, if it's, for instance, 20, this might be a wee bit more complicated than I originally thought, alright? Because, well, no, so if we start from the center point, and we say we have X many nodes, we can divide our step size. So then we can say, for instance, var step size equals, okay, yeah, sweet, very nice. But that's my back. Okay, so var step size equals, and then we say ellipse points dot size divided by buttons dot size. Okay, and then hopefully that works out. It's gonna tell me that integer division, we're losing some data here, but I think that should be okay. That means we have to have buttons be, well, an even thing, but then, how many they got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course they don't have an even thing. But okay, so anyway, so step size. So then what we can do is essentially say for as many buttons as we have, the nodes. So we'll say node points. Well, actually you can't do list comprehensions, I always forget. So say for node, or we can say 4 steps in buttons. Oh, num nodes. Come on, num nodes. That's what you are if you're a bad Godot program. You're a num nodes. Okay, so 4 steps in, or step. 4 step in num nodes. 4 node in num nodes. Then we'll say node points dot append, and now what we want to do we definitely don't need a variable. It's actually confusing me to have made it a variable, because now we can say trib in num buttons, but for node in buttons dot size, and then what we can do nodes dot append, and we want our center point. Well, I guess we need to, let's do this so I don't have to code a bunch of if statements. Range 1 to button size. So button size will return 2, say +1. So this will just to be, say print node. Yeah, 1, 2. Okay, perfect. And then if we add another one, it'll say 1, 2, 3, rather than starting at 0 and ending 1 before. And that just means that now I can do center point plus step size times node. Okay. Cool. Now, if we print, but that will actually just get us the index. So we'll say var idx equals. So this will be the index of the thing. So we've got the center point, which in this case is point number 4. Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, point number 5. No, that doesn't need to be like that. Fuck. Ah, yes. This should not be there. There we go. That's why. Okay, so we'll say center IDX. There we go. That makes that more clear. Even though I might just ditch it because it's only using one part here. For clarity, I think I'm going to keep it. But okay, so we have the index of the center point, and then we can get every step size around that. So node dot append ellipse points IDX. Okay, so times plus step size times node, and of course we actually did not need to do this because we want the first one to be 0. Because we want the first one to just be the center. So by doing this, we have step size, which is in this case I think 10, but it could, if we have 4, it would be 5. If anyway. So that's how many points away along the ellipses do we need to look? Plus the center, and then we look at that. That's for the next step times node, which is the first. So the first one is just going to be the center. So that should be 10 times 0, which is the center. So it's center IDX plus 0. So that just gets us the center. Then we want the next one, which is a single step away. So that'll be, now node will be equal to 1, step size times node, which is 1 times 10 is 10. And then we just add the center IDX, which in this case is 5, plus 10 is 15. And if we go, wow, if we go over here, this should be 15. Okay. I am giddy with excitement. Okay, good, nothing's changing. So, what did we just do? What we just did okay, so we'll say here, I'll just make a function. So func get node points pass, and then I will make this return an array, and then I'll just put all this in here. Do that right? Okay, yep. And then we'll just simply, actually, yeah, we don't need this to return anything. So this will be void. And I'll change this to create node points. And then what I want to do here is just do node points dot clear. We'll say if node points. So because I'm leaving it undefined, and just in case for some reason I would ever need to call this function during runtime, if there was node points, I want them cleared, and then we're going to remake the node points. Okay, so now what we need to do is make a new function that interpolates these guys around it. So we'll make an easing function. I'm trying to see, because I would like to use a tween and just have it go around, but I think I might be able to do. Oh, my girlfriend's leaving for something. Click callback. Calls callback of object after duration. So arguments be passed to the callback. What's a callback versus a method? Animates a method of object from initial val to final val for duration, seconds, delay seconds. I don't think that would work. So I'm thinking about just doing it in process and then using an ease function and then just having them do like that. And that should work. Yeah. So first I'm going to place them, and then we'll worry about that. So for button in buttons pass, and then what we'll do is so this will give us this, and then we can just get the actual button info. We'll say var button node equals buttons info button and then node, and so that will give us access to the actual node. And then what we need to do with that information is to now place those on the node points. Yes. So what we should actually do here is do for IDX in buttons dot size again, and then we'll say var button equals buttons IDX. I mean, we could just do that. Looks a little ugly, but I like one-liners. Okay. So now we need to do, we don't need another variable, but we need to put that button node on the node. So we'll get node, I actually have not, for one thing, I didn't do call create node points here, but then I also want to print node points and make sure that, yeah, those are coordinates. Yep, perfect. And then I'll probably end up making these their own scenes, or at least give them a button script. In fact, I might just do that and not make them their own scenes. So we'll say selection UI button. Yeah. And we'll say func set scale, and then this will be vector. Wow, what's wrong with me? This will be set scale, scale. We actually don't, yeah, that'll be easier to do this. So we'll say vector 2, and then this will be a void function, pass, and then func underscore ready. We will say rect pivot offset equals rect size divided by 2.0, and that will make sure it's centered, and then we can now set our scale correctly. And so what we want to do is not just, so this is actually not the scale. We might not even need to provide this. because I don't want to have to, the whole point of this function is that I don't want to have to figure out the scale in this script. I want them to handle the scale just by knowing their position, their distance from the center node. So here what I'll do is just pass in center position. Center pos. And then this can be center pos score y. And this will be a float value. And then, oh, that's overriding a function. Visual, we'll call it visual scale then. Visual scale, center position y, and now we just need to figure out the ratio, which is going to be so our position, so it's us rect position, and then I want to get divided by center position y, except this needs to be that y. And then this should be a beautiful little percentage, because we should be, yeah, so if we're in the front, then our position, this will be 1, and if it's not, this will be like somewhat far away. So in the case of this, that's 115, so that's 100. So if we go over here, that's going to be, we want the distance from that. So that would be, this needs to be an absolute value, for one thing. So that's just going to get our y distance from it, and that is going to be, in this case, 100, and then so that would be, what's wrong with me? That's 115 over 100. Why? Maybe that's not the way to go. Oh, that is not 115 over 100. I think my brain is officially melting. So that would be 115 over 15, which is a huge number, not what we want. Wait, it doesn't quite make sense, because going up, the numbers should get smaller, should they not? Yeah, these should be more negative numbers. X1. Oh yes, this is 0.1. Okay. Good. So this would actually be 15 divided by 115, which would be, yes, an infinitesimally small number. And then what we want to do here is just rect scale equals, yeah, rect scale equals vector 2 dot 1 times lerp, and then we'll get so a full scale will be this will just be 1 to the variant. Also 1, so we want 1 by, right now this, but that's definitely not right. So at the smallest, let's say 0.5. Let's do that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna add this to you as well. Okay. So now, when we do this, I'm getting so far ahead of myself. I just need to spawn these buttons. Okay, so var button node equals buttons info. So now we've got the button node, and we're just gonna say button node dot rect underscore global. Why is it not doing this to me? Because it doesn't know that it is a control. Button node dot rect global position, or just rect position, equals node points idx. Pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see, does this do anything to the fact that they're offset? No, I think it's just something weird with, that's still necessary, but it's something weird with the control nodes. Where no matter what you do, like even if I do this, if I put center, right, and then I ran this, it's still gonna spawn them in the same places, like weird like that. So I don't, they're always gonna spawn at the top left. Even if I put like this, like over here, for instance, they're still gonna spawn. This is what I think is weird, because like if I do this, it should not spawn in the same place. It should reference the reference that. But I guess rect position relative to its parent corresponds to the rectangle's top left corner. The property is not affected by rep. Oh yeah, it literally says it right there. But then it's actually easy enough here to just say plus button. Why are you not autofilling? Oopsies, because I put equal. Plus button node dot rect size divided by 2.0 minus. All right, so now they're right on the line, which is sweet. I'm gonna hide that for right now because we know that they are spawning there. And then we also want to do button node dot visual underscore scale. Or you know what I think I'm actually going to do is make a signal. Say signal visual scale underscore buttons. And then this will have nothing, and then we can emit it whenever we want. So right here I'll put emit signal visual scale buttons. Okay, and then right here we will connect those because we're placing them and we're also connecting them. So we'll say button node dot we'll say actually self dot connect visual scale buttons to button node, and then we'll just say visual scale. Hello. My little dog have come to cuddle me, eh? You sure you're not just hungry? Because I'm starting to get hungry, you little mutt. Yum, yum, yum. Come on. Oh. Kiss, kiss. The little bean has made an appearance. What do you think of this? You bring potato? You bring potato? Okay. Alright, so what we need to do is also emit this with the center point. So we'll say node points 0, which should just be the first point. And so, and I hit the wrong thing again. I didn't seem to do it. Let's go ahead and go to this and print hi. Ah, there's an error here. Oh, yes. Hey, look at that. That's what I'm talking about, all right? Okay, and then, so that's 0.5 scale, 2.6. I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks quite a bit farther back, but that's totally fine by me. I might end up shrinking the ellipse, though. So we can make this 0.7. And then I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna shrink that. Nice. And so now it's behind it. And then on the visual scale, the other thing I want to do here is adjust the brightness depending on how close or far away it is. Actually, I want to print rect score scale. Just I want to see, it's probably not, yeah, it's not perfectly at 1, I would imagine. Because we have to do this rect scale dot y. Now let's see. No. Divided by 2. That's also not going to help. No, did not help. So the reason I thought that is, like, if we look at the rect position, right, that is, and we run this, that's giving us this, and we want the center point. So our center point should be our center point should be our, nope, that's why. Size. Yay! Okay, there we go. So now it's perfect at 1.1 and then 0.83, and then we can probably do. I'm actually pretty freaking surprised that that works that well just out of the box, because it's not working like perfectly. I would like whatever this one is to be. I kind of want them to be almost overlapping, especially. I mean, we'll see right here, but maybe that might not even be feasible though, because if they overlap, it might be a whole deal with figuring out like which layer they're on to make sure that it looks right, and so maybe, you know, not do that unless it is necessary, especially because I've spent like several hours doing almost nothing now. Visual scale, center position, rect scale equals that. Print rect scale, don't want that. What we want to do is now adjust our brightness. So here we'll say, what's the term they use for that? Weight. We'll just call it weight. Var weight equals. So I was going to make this more readable. So weight. So weight equals that, and then we'll say modulate. Well, I guess we need to. Figure out like what amount of modulation is gonna. I don't want to just see here they've just darkened it a bit, and you can see these ones are slightly less darkened. So what is going to do that on a modulate? Because obviously that's not an option. Well, you can't see right now because you're gonna be able to see through, and that's not what I want. I want this to get darker. Oh, we can go HSV, and then maybe take down the saturation. It's already at 0 vibrance. Yes, that's what we'll do. So I think you can literally do modulate.v. Yeah. We'll say lerp, and then we will say what value do we want this to lerp between the smallest value. Let's see. This is definitely something I want to determine visually, obviously. We'll go to HSV, and oh, you can't turn. What if I do raw and then HSV? Nope, won't let you do that. Well, it's out of 100, so that should be good, hopefully. Do like that, and then it's like 50 maybe. Yeah, we'll just do it between 100 and 50. So 50, 100. Also, I want to, in case this doesn't work, modulate.v. I want to print it. And then by weight again. Okay. Okay, so it is. Nice. Okay, so now it really looks like it's farther back and it's not selected. So that's simply placing them. We still have to rotate them in accordance to button movements. So, yeah, this great, ain't it? Isn't that great, bro? I also want to come up here and just quickly get. First off, I think I have to go over to. Let's go to mouse. I don't want to stop the mouse. I'll pass, and then we'll go to. I'll pass, and then we'll go to. Do I want to pass it? Focus. I don't want to pass. I don't know. I'll figure that one out later. Mode all. So that way I can grab the focus. And then we'll go up here and say on focus entered. And then we're also going to need on focus exited. And then we will do things with those at some point. Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Okay, so I'm gonna do this and just quickly reorganize this. Then these are helper functions. Paste them there. That's how I like to organize my code. So I'll cut it into sections like this. They're very interpretable. Sometimes that gets tedious because I'm like, how do I classify this function? But whatever. And then, like I don't know exactly where I'm going to put these guys. Sometimes I just do signals, but I feel like that's trash. I'll figure out those guys later. These guys are fleshed out enough where I know exactly where I want them. So on control, focus entered, what we're gonna do, we also need to get on ready, oopsies, on ready var vbox. Equals vbox. Oh, we need this, and then this should be. Well, now I'm gonna break it, but scroll container. I spelled that wrong. And then this needs to change. There we go. Okay, cool. So now, sorry. So now that will grab the vbox container. Okay. I'm just trying to think about how exactly I want this to move. But anyway, I'm just thinking about a million things. So vbox, no, did I have it there? Yeah. Vbox dot show, and then here we'll have vbox dot hide. And then here I'm also going to say vbox dot hide, so that way it's hidden by default. and then we'll show it when we're ready. Cool. So now we need to kind of figure out the movement functions. So, let me start walking through this in my brain. So we've got the points of the ellipse, and we know which point that the button rests on. Actually, now that these all have scripts, I'm thinking it might be easier to, rather than keep button info here, we just make this a simple dictionary like that. And then we don't need that. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. And that's an ordered dict. Maybe I could actually make that a class. We'll call an ordered dict class, because now we can use this as the order and then use this to store the information. And then this will now not work, but now it will work. Okay, so anyway, the point of that is that now we can make a variable here, var current point, and we'll set this right now with just nothing, which is going to be a vector 2. Or I think it's going to be an index. Yeah, we want it to be an index for sure, because we can always query its position. So we need current point, and we need to get, so this will be an integer. Cool. So hop back over here. And now we need to do, some people just joined what's going on, peeps. So what is happening here is that I'm making this menu here. Okay, it should be bigger. And, oh, something I didn't do in project settings, I don't think, was to do thin window? Oh, I did. Okay. Well, anyway. So, sorry about that. So, we're making this menu here. And these are going around in an ellipse. So if you look over here, you can see this. They will be going around in that ellipse, and then it should look kind of three-dimensional because they'll scale as they go around. And these are going to be, this is going to be the menu, like the Paper Mario menu from Thousand Year Door, like that, except hopefully a little better somehow. So, what are we doing now? So what we're doing right now is we placed them, but we're trying to figure out the movement. So we know we have the current point, which is which point they're located, and I'm going to set that. I need to make sure that I actually set that here right now. So we'll say okay, so we'll say button node dot current point equals that. That points IDX. And then, I mean, I guess I don't. I could just plop that back in, but this is actually shorter. We'll just do it. Okay. I guess I could do that in the ready function for them, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That makes it a little bit more simple for me. It makes them handle some stuff. Okay, minus arc size divided by 2. Cool. Int and vector 2. Well, good thing I did that, because I would have forgotten. Oh, but now, wait, so we've got current point. correct size divided by 2 minus. Okay, so current point. Okay, I see problem. I see a problem and I'll raise you one idiot. Haha. Maybe I don't do that. So I could do current point, and then I could also make another variable called the current point. It should really be current index and current point. This should really be current index, current IDX. So we could also get parent and get that information. That's not what I want. Okay, I'll just do var current point vector 2. I think I need to do this in the init function too. Underscore init. Say button node dot current IDX equals IDX. I mean, for right now, I'll just do that, but that might change later. We will see. Currently more lines of code than it was before, but a little cleaner. Okay, so we get the button node, and then we set its current index, and we set its current point, and then we connect that. So let's just make sure that I didn't break anything, and I did. Inbox get X attacks on base nil. Var button node equals buttons info. Son of a bitch. Because this is in the init function. All right, well. So I do think this broke something. Yeah, they're not going to be positioned anymore. Because so let's just make a new function for them then, and then I'll just call this function reset position. Okay, and this will be void obviously, and then we'll just do that. Okay. And then I will just call that here. So we'll say the node dot reset position. Put that there. That needs to be called. Hopefully I didn't spell anything right. And there we go. Okay, cool. Cool. So now they're going in the right place. Okay. So now what we need to do is do, okay, I wonder if there's like if you can check like has focus. Has focus. Hey, look at that. It's true if this is the current focused control. So one little problem with this is that I'm worried. Well, here, what we'll do is I'll just right here set this to myself. Not top. Well, top. Yeah. So everything to ourselves except for the bottom, because that's how we're going to use this. If you go up, you go to it, and then if you go down, you go back. Or hit like B button or something, I don't know. But I'll figure, that's much more hard coded. So this way, if you press anything other, it's just going to make you the center of attention, essentially, which I love to be. And so does this node. Yeah, okay, so that will be that. And then we can check if has focus. So we can say function, we'll say move. I want to call it move. What are we doing here? Move menu, scroll menu, scroll underscore menu. I keep thinking someone's texting in the chat. It's just the number of viewers watching falling. No. Okay. So I'm debating quite a bit about this, and that is that when we've got these guys like this, right? I should probably make this like full screen, but anyway. So we've got these guys like this, let's say, right? And I tell it to move so that I want them to cycle around. There's a string of points, right, that they need to go through in order to get there. And if I use a tween, I don't think I could tween through each point. I don't really understand how to use tween callback though. I don't really understand what a callback is. Calls callback of object after duration. Don't tell anyone. Why can't I get a signal so it's called by the computer? By connecting a signal to a node, you can let Godot call a function of that node every time the signal emits. We call that function a callback because it gets called back when the signal emits. Gets called by the computer when some event occurs. Okay, so that's essentially just emitting a signal. Whatever. So the only thing I could possibly think of is if we could do this in interpolate method. And we could just, in the method, we could just say move by X amount. That wouldn't work. Unless Beanie is my pug. I wish I could make you visible all the time. Unless the only thing that would work is if we made the ellipse a sufficient number of points here. Let's make this visible again. So if we made the ellipse a sufficient number of points such that we could literally just say, go to that point, and it would still look smooth. Oh, big stinker later. Oh, big stinker later. Yeah. Because the problem is, like, if you use a tween, right, we could tween to each point, but then I guess we could tween linearly. And then if we know that the next point is the final point, then we can tween non-linearly. Linearly? I don't know, man. Because I was thinking the other thing I was going to do is basically, like, so he's here. So he's here, he's there, right? And I want him to go there. And so what I could do is give him a list of all these points until that point and say that's your target, right? And then in the process function, we would just have him move by some amount until he reaches this point, and then the other point becomes his next objective. And then he just does that all the way along the curve until he reaches this point. But that's pretty freaking imprecise, because you're looking at float precisions and you're comparing vectors, right? So like it might, they should all move at about the same rate, and then I could of course snap it once it gets to that point. Like once we're close enough, then we snap, and it should be visually, you probably wouldn't notice. All right, let's do it that way then. Okay, so I'm gonna make this invisible. Actually, let's keep it here, and then I'll just say, well, we're gonna get rid of it at some point, so we'll do that. Come on in, bitch. Okay, so control attacks, this. What am I doing? So we're gonna make, so scroll menu, and then when do I want this to happen? Let's do this. I want to do print focus, you idiot. And I spelt it wrong intentionally. Oh, well, we haven't grabbed focus. So on ready, we will right now grab focus. Interesting. So if we send the focus back to ourselves, it doesn't re-grab the focus. So I essentially, I think you can do like GUI input. We can just do, yeah, we'll do input. Called when an input event hasn't been consumed by underscore input or any GUI control item. So let's do that then. Although we can also just do input and then check. So func unhandled input and then print event. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Now it's capturing when I press down. Now that could potentially be a problem. So what I'm gonna do is in control, I'm gonna set the neighbor bottom to be my attacks button. And so what that should do, theoretically, is if I press it, it's still popping up as an unhandled input. And I also, let's just make sure that this is actually grabbing focus. Why? Focus entered. Shit fuck. Okay. Disconnect. Disconnect. Okay. Bum 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 bum. Connect to yourself. Then print as fuck. Okay, so at least it's not actually getting focused for some reason, which it should, because I selected it. Focus. All. Yeah. Mouse. Stop. Input. Okay, Howdow. What's going on, bro? I'm trying to recreate this Paper Mario inventory system here. And I'm just planning too much. I don't know if I'm planning too much ahead, but I'm certainly thinking about steps very far down the line as I make some of the basics. No, I do not want to do that. I was trying to see. Okay, so it's not. I don't know why it's not grabbing the focus here, because maybe because it's a child of it. That might be it. I think it has to be a neighboring control. This is for the Score Space Jam, which is right here. Will I finish on time? Very unlikely, but this is a game that I would be down to like push towards production. So the theme is Evolve, and it's like a Pokemon mixed with Paper Mario. That is also a roguelite. So it's just Pokemon where the battle system is like this, and the linearity matters. So like, for instance, I mean, just like in Paper Mario, so like if you want to use your hammer, you could only hit the first guy. But if you want to jump, you can jump on anybody, but it's less effective. And for instance, like this guy has, anyway. So it's cool, I think. Yeah. And then you get points based on how far you get, as well as in how few turns you're able to finish each battle. So it's like a minimum amount of points, whatever. You have to get points. I think if the game does well, if I finish in time and the game does well in the jam, I will definitely remove that points thing. I don't want there to be points. I just want you to like kind of enjoy playing and see how far you can get, and then it shows like, oh, you got to this level. But I want the score to be a little more linear, because in this jam, people want to compare each other, right? And so if you get to floor 4, that might be too big of a gap between floor 3 and 4. I want there to be some kind of divisor. So that's why you'll get points depending on how well you do in battle. But in the end, it won't really matter. Like, yeah, for any other person who wants to play this game. Okay, so this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to... I'll just put it in battle for right now. And then I'm gonna... Hopefully I don't destroy something. So this is gonna be UI, selection UI. And now if we go to focus, I should be able to select like this control as the main thing. So if I go like this, it should get those. Fuck. Print, focus, lost. Okay, now. It's not doing it. Why is it not grabbing focus? I don't understand. I'm right here. I said, okay, man. If I go ahead, alright, and I press done, okay, it should go straight to that one. I don't know what accent I'm doing. That's what this says. So I don't get it. Focus mode all. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into the art and stuff. But so I'm making the battle, and then it's going to be like kind of the just basics, randomly generating these maps, or maybe not randomly. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it kind of something like I did in the last game, where I used Perlin noise and stuff. And I learned a lot to make that like a much easier process than it ended up being. I'll probably just do a very simple random. Like there'll be like, yeah, That's very far off. We'll see if we even get there, because this is supposed to be done by tonight, and that doesn't look quite so achievable. I don't understand why. So it's printing event. We should lose focus because I'm hitting down on the arrow keys, right? And so what I've done here, I know why, potentially. Yep, I know why. It is because the monster is grabbing focus. Okay. Okay, now nothing will grab focus here. Cool. No. Bum 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 bum. Hello. Hey, what's going on? All right. Please tell me what to do. Also, where am I printing these ones? Let's do search, find file, print modulate.v. That is where I'm doing it. What else am I printing here? Print event, focus lost, and self. That's fine. Well, actually, we don't really need this anymore because I know that's working. Okay, so we're printing the unhandled input, and for some reason, it is capturing. The input should be handled, but it is not being handled. So I put it right here, and I do this. First of all, let's print control focus entered, and then let's just print entered. So if I run the scene, it's not grabbing focus, which is weird, right? No, I'm so stupid. Okay. Boom, okay. But now it's still not losing focus. Okay. So I'm on here. On the focus neighbor bottom, I have selected that control. Well, here, let's do that. Maybe that's it, who knows? Okay. Ah, but so it doesn't matter. Well, we can do unhandled input. We can say if has focus, and then we do this. And now theoretically, so I think do I not have has focus? Has underscore focus. Where was that? Was that in here? No, it was in here. I'm done. My brain is fried. I might need to take a break. Those are very simple mistakes. Okay. Clean. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Sweet. So essentially what we do is we say if has focus print event, and then now I'm gonna go ahead and delete that note because we don't want it in there. That was just for testing purposes. Okay, so now it's got nothing down there. So, but let's actually undo that in the code real quick. And let's do this. Cool, okay. So we will keep the focus, and then as long as we don't lose the focus, then we can handle these inputs. So yeah, I guess we might as well just make this input at this point though, because yeah, because like if we have to put if has focus in here, then it's not unhandled. Like the input is handled. So I don't know. Well, I'm just going to do it that way. So we'll say input event has focus, and then now I need to actually figure out how to handle these events. So what I want is that So let's do this. Let's do underscore input event. Let's look at this. Device. The event device ID will always be -1 for emulated mouse input from a touchscreen, which emulated mouse from a physical mouse input. Okay. Accumulate as text, get action strength. Is action pressed? Okay. Is action released? I don't have is action just pressed, I noticed, which is good. Shortcut match. Returns true, the specified event matches this event. Ah, okay. For action events, i.e. this. So what's the point of that versus is action pressed? Unless I can pass in an array, because that would be cool. No, you can't. Okay, whatever. In that case, we will do this. We'll do is action pressed. So we will go right here, and we'll say print event is action pressed UI. Oh, actually, I guess I do understand why that would be useful, because we want to see. Shortcut match. So say, okay. I think this will work. So we'll say, we could say if event is input event key. I'll say print hello. Let's see if that works. Okay, so that does work. And then, of course, if I do this, that does not work. And then now we'll say or event is, or we can just say in, maybe, and then I don't have to write or 30 times. Okay, let's see. Nope, that does not work. So we have to do that. Or event is joypad. Where am I getting these? Because I don't know like what the joystick would be. Input event. There we go. Gesture. Event key. Put event joypad. What's the difference between joypad button and joysticks? These are all only child of input event, so we can't do input event action. Interesting. You can hook up a MIDI to Godot. You guys, if you guys don't know what that is, a MIDI is like the tool you use for music and like hit stuff. So that's pretty cool that you could hook up a MIDI and use that. And then obviously we've got Spring Dragon stuff. I don't know how you do joypad motion. I guess I'll just do this one. Input event for gamepad buttons. Input is input input event joypad button. I think I'll even make, so function is intended motion, and then this will return a Boolean value. Return this.
Do you want a espresso martini?
Are we raging? I'll just make me something sour, like lemon juice and vodka or something. I don't know. So I guess I'm drinking. And someone left, right? Ugh, you sinner. Okay, so we're gonna say is intended motion. And that way, oh, we need to pass that into this. That way I can make this clean. Say for X in for events action in it's kind of weird that you can't do that. So for action in this, we'll return false. We'll say if event is action, return true. Okay, so all I'm doing there is we're looping, and then that way I can add as many actions as I want to that. That would work. Yeah, so we're saying if it's any of those actions. Actually, we should be able to go input event joypad motion. Yeah, so is intended motion. We can actually change this to is intended action. There we go. So if it's any of these, this will return true, else it's going to return false. And then now we can print hello, and we should be able to do this, but not, well, now we can't tell, but let's do that. If I do this, nothing. If I move my mouse, it should work. And then I can't. Oh, could I test with the gamepad? I have this little thingy, but I used for flashcards. Fuck it. That's something down the line. Don't need to worry about that right now. Okay, so if we do this, we want it to move. Yes. That is true. That is very true. So I want to put, I guess I can put that there. Scroll menu, and then we'll put direction. I'll just put dir. And then I'll make this an int, I guess. And then we'll make, oopsies, this be that. 0 is left, 1 is right. And then, yeah. I guess we could just make that default value of 0. Okay, so if is intended action event, then we can say get direction, right? Bring the action. Oh yeah, we can, so is action pressed. Wait, is action type? Don't tell me that's what I just did. Okay. What is echo? Returns true if this input event is an echo event, only for events of type input event key. Oh, that's cool. Because yeah, like when I was hitting it, it was registering like multiple times per hit, so it would know if it's an echo. That's cool. we can say here, and not event dot is echo. Cool, so now it's still doing it though. Like I'm only hitting this once, for sure. Super annoying. Let's just do this. All right, so let's print then we can do this though. Then we can say input. Okay, so we can say dir equals input dot get action strength UI left minus, so this should actually be -1. We'll say -1 is left minus vardir UI right. And then we actually want this. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just worried about joypads because we want to get the so in the case of keyboard, this is simple, right? Because you simply have that if this is like -1. We do just want to get his action, if it's pressed, right? Is there get action? Action press? Void. No, that tells it to do something. Is action just pressed? I mean, I think I'm just gonna do this, dude. I think I need to simplify this considerably. And just, rather than having to use a process, we can just do if input dot is action just pressed UI left, or that, and then this is obviously right. Then we do this. But yeah. If has focus and that. So if has focus, and then we don't need to do this anymore. And then I'm just gonna comment that for right now because I don't know for sure if I don't need it. Why are you mad at me? Because I did this. Okay. So if we have the focus and either one of these is pressed, then we get our direction by doing this. But we don't want to get the strength. So is action just press is going to return a Boolean, right? Is joy button pressed? Okay. Input is action just press UA left, or input is action press UA right. Why can't I? I've never done this, which is the problem. I've never even thought about. The problem is this is not going to always return a value between 0 and 1. So we just do this. And then we can say is action just pressed. What the? Where am I doing this? Oh, right there. Okay, so now these are bools. So what we need to do is convert them to integers. And this should work. But if you press both at the same time, it'll result in 0, which is fine. So we'll just say here, we'll say if dir. I guess we could say and is intended action. But it just seems a little pointless. So we can just do that. Yeah. So say if has focus, var dir equals that. If dir. Yep, that does not need to be indented. If this does not, basically if this isn't 0, and then this should be int. So if dir, actually I'll do this just to make sure that that's what we're specifying, and also it makes it readable if anyone else looks at this. Then what do we want to do? We want to, my brain is gone. So if has focus, if we have the dir, if we have the dir, then we want to do scroll menu with dir. Like dir. So yes, if it's left, then that will be 1 minus 0, which would give us positive 1. Okay, so by default we're going to move to the left. We should really just not do that, huh? Okay, and then all I want to do right now is print dir. left is 1, right is... Okay, alright, so that's good. We've at least gotten that far. Now, what else do I need to do? Now we need to actually make this thing move, which I think that's pretty easy. I can just code that again if I do need it. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Okay, I'm just getting everything good in my brain, which is not working very well right now. So here's the basic plan of what I want to do here, is that we'll loop through the buttons, right, or the size of buttons, which there will be 2 in this case, right, and then what we'll do is we'll have the index, and so we can get the actual button, and then in each button script, they're going to have a new variable, which I guess I'll just make that right now. And this variable will be path, and I'll set it to an empty array right now. And then we'll just make a function underscore process delta, and then here we'll say set process false, and then here we'll do pass. So the idea is essentially going to be that we're going to give it a path, a set of points, and then we're going to have it in process simply move towards each point in the path. So go point 1, and then we get to that point, and then we assign ourselves to be our current point to be the next point. I'm going to change that to node index because I'm using that right here. Like node index. So the idea is that this variable is only going to be referenced by us, by the parent script, but the other ones are going to be internal and used by that. So we'll say only used by parent. Cool, and set by parent. And then these will be both set by the parent and by us. Okay, so process delta. There's gonna be so many problems with this. But let's just do it, and then maybe I can just solve those problems, because I don't think there's really any better way to do this, unless I just make it. Yeah, I think I'll just hold it. I was gonna make it so you could interrupt the movement, but I'm just gonna make the movement fast enough that you don't feel the need to do that, and maybe I'll buffer what you do for some amount of time. Yeah, okay. Process delta pass. Right now, what we want to do is we want to say. Current point, and then I'll say var target underscore point, and this will also be a vector 2, and then we'll say pass right now. So we'll say if target point pass, and then else. Okay, yeah, so there's that. And then so if we have a target point, we'll move. If we don't have a target point, then we're gonna say target point equals path dot pop back. Perfect. At least I think we might have to do pop front. That's why I was hesitating, but that's fine. And then so target point. If we do have a target point, then what we'll do is we'll say var dir equals self dot. We can say rect global position dot direction to. I guess we can just say rect position because this is all going to be rect position dot direction to target point. Okay, and then var velocity equals vector 2 dot 0. Okay, and I just want to make constant max. Well, yeah, we'll just say constant max frames. I'll say I want this to take, I don't know, 10 frames. So that's a sixth of a second to get to full velocity. Yeah, and then we'll say var frame equals 0. It's definitely a little weird because yeah, and so here what we'll do is we'll check I might need to just make this its own thing. So we'll say if not target point, do this, and then this should run always, but we'll see. Anyway, okay, so then we're gonna say velocity equals dir times, and then we want our ease function. Wait, did I forget how to use this? Float curve. Use value x based on the curves. Ah, yes. Dir times. So we need max velocity. Constant max underscore velocity equals. Let's just do 50 or something. That might be way too fast, but we'll see. Ease times max velocity times ease. So our ease is essentially going to be the percent of the max velocity. Oh, then we also need delta times. Actually, we won't apply that right here. But so we got the ease function. So S is the float, and curve is that, I think. We just get the weight. So the weight should be, this should be a float. Might need to change this, but we'll say frame plus equals 1, and then here we say times frame over max frames, and then the curve, which okay, GD script. Nope. There we go. Okay, so what curve do I want? I think we just want a simple... Probably want to ease in and out, huh? Yeah, we'll just do an ease in and out. And I think negative 3.2 is a pretty sweet curve. Okay, so by doing this, we will convert this, our percentage, to a percentage on the curve, and thus max velocity will be curved towards that amount. Now, because max frames is 10, that'll probably happen so quickly that it almost doesn't matter. But hopefully it does matter. Yeah, because if you do this, it goes like that. I don't think it goes like that. Yeah, it drops like shoots down, right? Might need to bust open another program to check this. Okay, so now we need to do is say essentially, I guess before we even hit this, we should say if rect position dot distance to target point is less than max velocity. I guess we could throw equal into, but that will never happen. Is less than or equal to max velocity. Yeah, that will never happen. There's almost no point in even. I might just. Okay, so. If we do that, what do we want to do? We want to then switch our target. Right? Yeah. So first off, let's do this. It should be like that. This should essentially always be running. And then it's be right there. And this will only say if not target point. So in the rare case that we're starting out and we don't have a target point, we'll set the target point. Right. Okay. And we'll add a frame each one. We'll check if our distance to is this. Because if that's true, then it's time to change target points. So then again, I guess we could do this. We could say probably that. I mean, maybe probably should get it working and then refactor. Something I know I should do, but I never do. So if we don't have a target point, not or we're close essentially, then we want to do target point path dot pop back. But what we also want to do is check if the next target point, check if path is size 1. So we say if path dot size equals 1 pass. So what we're going to do here is we have to tell it essentially that we want to start decelerating towards the point. See, this is tough because now if we want to decelerate, how fast do we decelerate is determined by the number of frames, right? Yeah, that's very hard. We have to determine at what rate we need to decelerate. I guess we don't need to decelerate. Let's go check. I'm gonna actually watch Paper Mario T2 ID real quick. Well, you know what? I am going to actually just do it and see how it looks. So what I'm gonna do essentially is that if path size equals 1, so now we can change this to if path, right? Else. Yeah, because we're moving at max velocity each frame. So essentially, if it is less than max velocity, and then maybe we can add like a buffer or something like that. But yeah, it should never overshoot it so much. That is, yeah, anyway. So if path. So this is like, we're gonna keep popping off the back until path is empty. Once path is empty, that means that if we're that close to our target point, we're that close to the end, which means we can do set process false, and we can say self, we don't have to say self, rect underscore position equals target point. So this should work, I think, but I guess we could say current point equals target point, but I'm also almost thinking we should just get rid of current point. Current equals target point. Okay, so now I've got that. All we should have to do is set a path here, and then set process equal to true. Yeah. And then it should handle the rest. So if we go back over here now, when we do this, we want to do scroll menu dir. And what we want to do is 4 buttons for each button, right? So we want to say for IDX in buttons dot size. Okay, we're say var button equals buttons, oopsies, buttons underscore info dot buttons IDX. Okay. I guess I should remain consistent and call this button node. Okay, so this will give us access to the button, and then now we need to get the path. So that, oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, I actually only need the current index. So var IDX in buttons. So now we want to get, what do we want? I might make another function called get next index, because what we need to do now is essentially get the next one. So yeah, I'll make func get next node point, and then we'll put current IDX. This will be an int, and then this will return also an int, which, so we'll get node points. So say var next underscore IDX. Well, can we just clamp it? No. We need it to bounce. Bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum. Oh, there are lots of functions, y'all. Next log load linear, lerp angle. Oh my god, I wish I knew about that. Yeah, whatever. Instance from ID. Oh, I also didn't know about that. That's good to know. Didn't know about that either. Should have done this a long time ago. Get stack font graph, VM touch on floor, ease to think. This is like a wrap. Wraps an integer between min and max, useful for creating loop-like behavior or infinite surfaces. Frame plus 1. Oh, freaking beautiful, dude. So I don't even need to make a function, because that's exactly what it's doing. Okay. So now we say, and because we have the direction, this is amazing. I love when things work out. Okay, so we can do wrap I, and then the value here is going to be button node dot current IDX, and then that's going to be plus dir. Okay, so dir is always only going to be either 1 or negative. Sorry, that might have been loud. Is always going to be either 1 or negative 1, so we can add that, and then it can change. And then we can say, what is the min? The min here is going to be 0. What is the max? The max here is going to be node points dot size. Okay, so say var next IDX equals that. So now we have the next index. Now what we want to do is essentially get the points between the current index and the next index, and then give that as a path to button node. And I think there's something in array, which is why I'm using this and not pool array, is it's like slice. Maybe it's a subset, describe the function returns an array. Okay, begin, end, step, beep. Okay, sweet. And we don't need that, so we just do the begin and end. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a quick test here. So actually, I don't need that right now. I do, actually. Okay. Print. Remember to delete this. My brain is truly rotting. Okay, so I wanted to just test that. So let's say var r equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna, just to make my life easier, my brain is hardening right now, start it with 0. So they actually represent their indexes. Now, if I do print r dot slice, and the beginning int is 2 and the ending int is 4, or index. Invalid set index and node index. Cool. Oh, that gives me 2, 3, 4. Okay, sweet. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, because that just means I don't have to like do any math here. Okay, so now we want to get, so button node dot path, and then we set that equal to our, oh, the other thing I just realized I'm definitely going to forget to do is to, at this point, and then we'll say target point equals null. Oh, it's really not, okay. Variable dot 0. Okay, so button node dot path equals, now we need the ellipse points dot slice, and then we do button node dot current underscore idx, and then we do next idx, and we say button node dot set process true. I just love the way that Canadians say process instead of process. It broke so fast. Info getting current IDX. Base texture button. What did I call it? So, a little weird. If not target point. Path to pop back. Okay, so print path. Okay, so one of the buttons is not being given a path for some reason. I know why. It's because I'm using some of the wrong things. So we get the button, we get the next index, but the problem is that we're using node points.size. So we need to get the current index. Fuck. Oh, my brain is definitely very far melted right now. So the reason is we're passing an index of essentially 1 to this massive array of ellipse points, not massive, 20. And so we need to get the, where am I setting? So there's create node points. Node currently equals node points IDX. Wait. Okay. All right. So we have the node points, but we need to get the index from the ellipses of each node point. And that's the problem. That's why we're having problems here. So at least for right now, I'm just gonna make it work rather than revamp the whole system, which is to go to scroll menu here. So next IDX. So this will get our next, we'll call this next underscore node underscore IDX. And then I'll do this for right now. Okay, next node IDX. Now, what do we need? We have that. Okay, so we say, so the next point would be node points next node IDX. So that would be the next point that we need to go to. So then what we need to do is say ellipse points dot find, and then we give the variant. Boom. And so this will give us the index, I believe. Returns its index. Very nice. Exactly what we want. So, say so we'll say var next ellipse. We'll just call these next IDX equals that. And then we'll get current IDX by doing something very similar. Okay, cool. So var current underscore IDX equals button node dot node IDX. And we actually need to do ellipse points dot find that. Okay, so the current IDX will get us that. Now, if we do next IDX, and then we do current IDX. Okay. That's not great. Here, let's keep that there, and let's go back here, and print that. Okay, why is that doing that? Negative 115 and 50. Hello, little bean. Okay, wait, what? What? I'm so confused right now. I must be doing something so stupid for it to be giving this ellipse points.find button node.node index. There aren't 115 points in the array. There's also no negatives. What the fuck? Okay, so it's returning -1. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, that's why. So it's returning -1 because it's not able to find the first thing, which in this case is current IDX. Why is that? Yep, that's why. Node points that almost worked. Okay, so that's good. One of them worked. The other one did not. So we have 515, 15, 5. Because you can't slice from. Alright, that will not be too hard. So that's like a very solvable challenge. And so that is essentially the fact that 515 you can slice because it's obviously quite linear, but 15.5 it's not going to do a reverse slice. So what we need to check right here is say if current IDX is, or if next IDX is less than current IDX, pass. So this essentially means that we looped. Actually, this is not fantastically easy. And then here we can just say else. And that would be there, which is great. But if this say var path equals, and then we'll say ellipse points dot slice from our current IDX to I don't think we can put -1, so we have to put ellipse points dot size -1. Okay, and then you have to say path dot append array. For right now, I'm just going to put that so it doesn't yell at me because I have to think about what I want to do. Now we want to do ellipse points dot slice, and then we want to slice from 0 to next IDX. It's loops, and then we say, yeah, we just append that, and then we can just do button node dot path equals path. Okay, well. Okay, really odd to me that they just all went to the corner, but at least nothing broke. I'm also confused because I mean, they're clearly just going way too fast, so let's see if doing that could help it. What the hell? I actually just realized I'm not even moving them. There's nothing that I'm calling here, unless I'm calling reset position? Like, here's the velocity. I'm calculating the velocity, but I'm not applying that anywhere, right? Okay. So clearly I'm doing something. This is happening. This should be if not path, for one thing. Okay, good. So that's actually expected. So what if we print velocity? Beautiful. Beautiful, baby. Okay, so now we want to say rect position plus equals velocity. Okay. They actually are going through it. But they're doing the reversed bit. That's why. That is why. We go here. Is it reversed or flipped? Oh, invert. There we go. Okay. Okay, button node dot path equals path. So here what I'm going to do is say bar path equals, and I'll say array right there. Actually, in fact, we'll just do this. Array, and then here I'll do this. And then I will do this. And then here I will say path dot invert. Okay. And then here I will say path equals that. They're still flipping. Why are they flipping? The first one worked. Oh. I actually don't know if I had to do this, so I'm gonna comment that out. The reason is, well, actually, I'm not quite sure. Regardless of which direction I press, they're going the same wrong direction. That's also not great. Obviously, this needs to be much faster than that. So some of the small discrepancies I don't think you'll notice. We set this to say 10. But now the problem is the faster we go, why does it feel like it's going faster sometimes? That definitely seemed slower and then faster. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. They're definitely switching. Yeah, I don't know why they're switching. It's really, really confused me. Oh, I want to try, but I also want to give up. Oh, this is not going well. This is something I should not have even done at all. Gotta ease the curve? Like, did I get the final position? It still moved linearly. I told it if I put on a curve. Anyway. Okay. Oh. But that, I don't think that's going to solve all my problems. Oh, it worked on the first one though. But now it's not because I guess maybe... Oh, I'm not updating the current index. Here I'll say if there is -1. Oh no, man, I think I'm gonna keep it. Oh yeah, the other thing we have to do, of course, is in this. Every single frame will do visual scale. I see. I did that for some reason. Well, then I'm gonna do this. Say bar center pos y. Vector 2. And then in here, when we make the buttons, actually, that means that this should be an int. And then here's Dogla button dot, oh fuck, center pos y, center pos y equals that. It's so weird to me that sometimes it goes faster, sometimes it goes slower. But the only other thing...
Hello, Beam, come here. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. You don't even care that there's food in the house. You still want to cuddle with your dad. That's good. This is my good pal, Beam.
Okay, so close. Someone just joined, so I'll tell you, I'm trying to make this menu. Here, let's actually make this full screen so you can see. The idea is that it looks like it's... Also, the speed is like changing every time, which I do not get. I don't understand why the speed is so different every time. This cannot be the best way to do this. But I don't understand how to make them move on a path. I'm thinking of some more ways, but I think I'm gonna... actually make these different colors at least. Oh no, it's like not working. I'm gonna get demonetized. All right, I'm gonna say that that's it for today, even though that is not good. I also don't understand where the speed changes. Also, if I hit right twice, I think that is just because I'm not setting the correct index here. But node dot next or node underscore IDX equals next node IDX. I'll just put that down here. Now I don't know how to prevent it from scrolling. Oh god. I mean I do, but it's just ugly and messy. Looking a hell of a lot like they are switching places to me. It does just keep going, which is nice. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna end it there for today. My brain is mush, so yeah. Thanks for watching. We did not finish this, but you know, whatever. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just end it.